people love the language of illumination until the light lands on something inconvenient. It is easy to romanticize the full moon when you are posting photos or talking about intuition. It is harder when illumination means seeing your exhaustion clearly, your resentment clearly, or the pattern you have been rehearsing for 6 months clearly. That is the real power of a full moon practice. Not magic. Not instant manifestation. Disclosure. A full moon is the point in the lunar cycle when the moon appears fully illuminated from our perspective on Earth. Across many traditions, it has been associated with culmination, emotional intensity, revelation, and heightened awareness. Whether or not you hold strong metaphysical beliefs about lunar influence, the symbolism is useful. A cycle reaches fullness. Something becomes visible that was previously building in fragments. That can make the full moon a strong monthly checkpoint. Instead of using it to chase drama, you can use it to review what has matured, what has intensified, and what now needs release, expression, or correction. The key is to work with revelation, not fantasy. Psychologically, a full moon practice is valuable because it creates rhythm for self-review. Most people do not change because they lack insight. They fail to change because insight never enters a regular container. They notice a pattern, feel a strong emotion, maybe talk about it once, and then the pace of life closes back over the opening. A monthly reflection interrupts that. It asks, what has been building in me this month? What is now obvious? What emotional tone has become the climate rather than the exception? That last question is especially important. One bad day is just a bad day. But a repeated tone matters. If irritability has become your normal baseline, that matters. If avoidance has become your normal baseline, that matters. If joy has quietly returned, and you keep discounting it, that matters too. The full moon is a useful symbol because it legitimizes review. It gives you a recurring moment to stop pretending you do not know what you already know. It also helps with emotional timing. Some truths are hard to face in the middle of the workday or during a crowded week. A recurring ritual window gives the psyche somewhere to place them. That alone can reduce avoidance. You are not trying to solve your whole life under moonlight. You are simply creating a rhythm in which honesty gets a regular seat at the table. A helpful historical comparison comes from quality control systems in aviation and medicine. Serious systems do not wait for catastrophe before they review what is emerging. They establish regular check-ins, audits, and debriefs because small deviations become visible only when someone actually pauses to look. That is a surprisingly grounded way to think about a full moon ritual. Not as superstition, but as monthly diagnostic review. Pilots, surgeons, and high-reliability teams understand something spiritual people sometimes forget. Attention is a practice. If you do not schedule reflection, you usually drift into reaction. If you do schedule it, small truth has a chance to surface before it becomes expensive truth. The full moon can serve exactly that function in personal life. There is also a reason communities have long linked lunar cycles with ritual. Shared timing creates shared memory. It helps people return to the same questions often enough that insight has somewhere to accumulate. Even if you do not practice in a group, you can still borrow that wisdom. Repetition deepens perception. Use this simple full moon review. Take a notebook and write 5 short headings. What grew? What drained me? What became clearer? What pattern needs interruption? What am I ready to release? Keep each answer short and concrete. 1 sentence is enough. Then choose one follow-through action for the next week. Not a life overhaul. 1 action. Examples. Cancel 1 obligation that is pure depletion. Schedule 1 overdue conversation. Resume 1 neglected practice that stabilizes you. Stop 1 habit that keeps amplifying confusion. If you want a symbolic close, tear up the page with what you are releasing, or place it somewhere you will see it for 7 days. The ritual matters less than the honesty. If you want to make it relational, add 1 more step. Tell 1 trusted person what became clear and what action you are taking. Illumination grows teeth when somebody else can ask you about it later. The full moon is useful when it becomes a mirror instead of a mood board. Illumination is not always gentle. Sometimes it shows you beauty you have been too numb to feel. Sometimes it shows you the exact pattern you can no longer defend. Both are gifts, if you stay with them long enough to act. Take these questions into your next full moon. What has become too visible to ignore? What emotional climate has been building in me? What one action would honor what I now see? Carry this sentence into the month. Illumination is only complete when it changes behavior.